Do you remember the movie Monsters, Inc.? The storyline basically follows this girl who found herself in a world full of monsters, and she needs to find her way back home. As a quick fix, Mike Wazowski pulls in a door to get her home, but Sully takes one look at that door, realizes it's not her door, and says, "Mike, that's not her door. That's not going to work. It won't get her home." And so for the rest of the movie, they're trying to track down her door. And in one scene, they end up in the warehouse at the factory, and they see how many tens, if not hundreds of thousands of different doors there are, but not a single one of them is going to work. Only hers will. Only hers will get her home. In this life of sin, in this life of monsters around every corner, each and every person alive is trying to find their way home. And there are thousands of different ways that people will present to you saying, this is how you can get there. And almost none of them are going to work. There's only one door we can walk through to get to our eternal home, and we're going to talk about that in just a minute. Tonight, Friday night at 5 p.m., we're going to have our St. Peter family night over in the fellowship hall. We'll be watching the movie David. Tomorrow, Saturday at 1 p.m., we will have a memorial service for our brother in Christ who is now in the arms of Christ, Dwayne Seville. That's the father of Debbie Schultz. The service is at 1 p.m. and there will be a small reception to follow in the fellowship hall. Our Sundays begin at 8:30 in the morning with coffee in the courtyard and fellowship. We move inside the sanctuary for member communion at 9 a.m. and our worship is at 9:30. At the end of our worship service, we're going to have our church president, Jason Taple, give us a recap of what happened at the voters meeting, as well as see a video of updates that have happened in the last couple months. Of course, after all of that is done, at about 10:30, we'll move over to the education hall, the fellowship hall, for our education hour, with the adults continuing our study in the book of James and Sunday school happening on the other side of the fellowship hall. On Tuesday, there's going to be a ladies' Bible study. Please get in contact with either Rebecca Taple or Karen Adams if you have any questions about that. In this life, there are people who are going to offer you hundreds, if not thousands, of different ways to get to your eternal home. There are so many different gods out there that people say if you believe in them and do what they say, you might be able to become righteous enough to get yourself home to heaven. Some people will say, well, as long as you're a good person or as long as your good works outweigh the bad things, you can prove to God that you're worthy of entering your eternal home. Some people will even say that Jesus is a way to get there, but he's not the only way. But in John chapter 10, Jesus says, no, I am the only way. Verse 9, he says, I am the door. I am the gate. Whoever enters through me will be saved. In John chapter 10, Jesus says he is the one door, the one gate to get into heaven. Not only that, but later he says, I'm also the good shepherd who laid my life down for you. And now I'm the one who picks you up and puts you on my shoulders and walks you through that door into your eternal home. Jesus is the only way. And I can't wait to talk about that with you on Sunday and worship with you then. I'm Pastor McKenzie. That's your Ministry Minute.